person. And just a note, anything to do with the team from Naturena, the coach will address it some other time. So right now, let's stick to the game and any other game that is following. So any matters as to whether the team is doing what related to the DC, that's not for this press conference. Thank you. So, coach, just a summary of the match.
Oh, I think if you have to look over the 90 minutes, I think both teams really cancelled each other out. I don't think there were great chances either end, although we did have one fairly good half chance in the second half with Mdu. But I think defensively tonight we were well organised, well structured. You know, they always a threat with the ball in behind with Shalulile's pace, the creativity of Miema, the creativity of Rolani Zwane. And in that first half, they managed to get into the half spaces in between our lines. But we spoke about our back four being very, very disciplined, keeping its shape, keeping its structure, not looking to step out, let them play in between those lines, but not in behind us. And as much as they got into our final third, our goalkeeper wasn't really tested. I think the only time they really looked a little bit more threatening was going to be on the set pieces. I think that has been their strength this season, has been a lot of goals from set pieces. I think it's 24 goals that they scored in total from set pieces. Last 5 games, they've started off with a goal from a set piece. So we focused a lot of that on that during training. And I thought tonight we were exceptional defending those set pieces, especially even right at the death. So I'm very proud of my boys keeping that clean sheet again. Defensively, we were very, very good tonight. On the ball, I thought we could be a lot better. I don't think we were clever enough on the ball or clinical enough on the ball. Sometimes we gave the ball away very, very cheaply. I know the pitch didn't really help entirely because it was a little bit bumpy. But I think, you know, ourselves, we looked a little bit nervy, to be honest. And maybe the occasion got to the players a little bit. So I felt we should have done a lot more on the ball. We had 1 or 2 half chances in the first half. And like I said, the chance that we created with them doing the second. But, you know, we had hoped that we'd get in behind their defense a lot more than what we did. But again, credit must go to them. Their defensive record has been exceptional, and it's the reason why they've had the season that they've had. So, you know, congratulations to Mamelodi Sundowns.
Coach, obviously in the January window, it's a long time ago, you guys lost a lot of important players, Bakhri, Ralani, Mubara, Dove. But you guys are unbeaten now in 2022. How exactly have you achieved this? Because many people were saying, oh, City might slide down the table, but you've still in contention for second place.
Yeah.
How has this been achieved?
I think first and foremost we were smart in terms of the players that we brought in, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time for those players to settle, but I think they settled in very, very quickly. Young players, you know, I look at Mbina, 20 years old, and play the way he plays. He made a few mistakes this evening on the ball, you know, but defensively strong, solid, wins a lot of interceptions, and on the ball, you know, he knows how to play in tight spaces. So I thought he's been a massive inclusion. But I think ultimately the intensity that I demand in training, I think, came from those changes. If I look at the first half of the season versus the second half of the season, our training intensity got better. And if it's the type of brand of football that we want to play, you have to have that in training. You can't just expect to switch it on and off on match day. And I don't feel that we had that in the first half of the season. So I felt that we needed to to freshen up the team. Chairman felt the same. So we made those choices. Obviously, Relani, an opportunity of a lifetime. We didn't want to deny him that opportunity, and congratulations to him. He's now champion. He's won his first league, so we congratulate him. Fakhri, the opportunity to go play at Pyramids, and the type of money that he's making there. Maybe Sundowns can match that. Yeah, and then Ajagun, same thing, opportunity of a lifetime, go play Champions League. Also, huge monetary gain that he would earn from it. So we've always been a club that doesn't want to stand in the way of players bettering their lives. And then Mobada was a similar scenario. Mobada needed to go somewhere where he would get more game time, because under us there was no guarantee that he would have that. Ed Milson similarly. So we looked at all of those, but we knew that it's one thing moving these players out, it's another thing bringing in same quality or better. And like I said, our scouting was very, very good, and it wasn't just done in the January window. Already in pre-season we started that scouting, and the important thing that we made was ensuring that those players first and foremost came and trained with us, so we could also get to learn the personalities. And like I said, for me, training intensity is very, very important, and they brought that with them. So since then, we've been on the up, which is exactly where we want to be.
Good evening, Coach. Fantastic point for you. Coach, what is it that you have up against Sundowns in terms of, tactically you normally do match them, taking into consideration the game that you had in the MTN8 final, where it really went down to the wire. Here again, they didn't score, you frustrated them. The first 10-15 minutes, was that the message, frustrate them, and then, the fans might turn up against them a bit a notch? And also, with 3-4 games left, what is the plan? Automatically second spot?
It's like I said to the players before the game. We don't know. Well, we might know what their last lineup was, but we don't know what the next lineup is going to be. But the reality is, whatever player that comes out, the quality is exactly the same. And tactically, the team plays the exact same way, except the players might be different players. What becomes important is obviously tactically that we are prepared to defend and defend well, knowing that Sundowns have a lot of quality on the ball, and if we remain disciplined defensively, we can contain them. And I agree with you, Sundowns are involved in so many competitions that somewhere along the line fatigue is going to set in. The longer the game goes on, the greater the opportunity is going to be for us to hurt them. But it's very, very important to ensure that you keep a clean sheet. Sundowns, like I said before, if you go look at their stats, you'll see, a lot of their goals are scored in the first 15 minutes of the game. And I don't think they've conceded a single goal in the first 15 minutes of the game. So that shows you how difficult they are in that first 15-minute period. So it was very important for us to ensure that we kept a clean sheet in that first 15 minutes, which is what we've done. And then they become dangerous again around about the 75th minute. And right there towards the end, you saw them coming at us again. I think they had 3 or 4 corners in a row, so the pressure extended itself. But we remained vigilant defensively, we remained switched on, and we were looking for the half chances that we potentially could get on the break, but like I said, we weren't clinical enough in that stage of the game.
We'll take the last 3 questions, Koza, Matsevani, then lastly, Ted. So Koza.
Coach, 5 exactly for Sundowns in a row. Now, do you think in future teams can do just to stop them from playing against champions?
I think it's about keeping your structure defensively. Sometimes, like I said to you before, we spoke about our back four being very disciplined, keeping a solid line, not looking to step out, because when you step out, that's where they're going to look to exploit the spaces in behind. Shalulile doesn't really play as a striker. He likes to drift into the channels. You're going to find your fullback at times finding himself marking two players because he has Mayema and Shalulile in a wide area. So it's important that you don't offer them the space in behind, offer them the space in front. And when you do that, then they can't really hurt you. You know, a lot of teams tend to think that you need to go and press them. And when you press them, that's when they got clever players that know how to play in those half spaces. They know how to turn you. And then they got players that look to make those runs in behind and they can hurt you. You know, so that is also something that has obviously improved from our side. In the second half of the season, we looked at ourselves tactically and we said, you know, we need to try and keep our two central defenders disciplined through the middle. We don't want to find our two central defenders looking to make tackles out in wide areas, because then we don't have the numbers through the middle. And I think that's been one very important element for us defensively. That's why we've been difficult to beat this second nine. If I go to the second half of the season, I could look at the first half. Too often we found ourselves outnumbered inside the box, you know. But now we're not conceding those situations.
Just as a follow-up, coach, then what is it going to take to really stop Sundowns? Is it how do you motivate yourself as you are approaching the next season? Start, level pegging, but given the quality that they have, and obviously you're thinking they're still going to struggle.
Yeah, I think
is it going
ourselves,
to be possible?
like I said, we looked nervy on the ball. You know, I think structurally we were sound. Defensively we were very, very good. But you know, that jersey carries a lot of weight, especially over the past 10 years, you know. Gone are the days where you used to speak about the dominance of Chiefs and Pirates. You know, Sundowns dominate now, and when you come up against that yellow shirt, there's going to be anxiety and nervousness. And if the players can try and get over that, then I think you stand a chance of beating them, as long as defensively you are organized and structured, because the quality that Sundowns possesses, they're always going to be a difficult team to beat, you know. But what you see in world football, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, most teams struggle to compete. Why? Because they are the best teams, you know. And we've got to know where we fit in the bigger picture, where we see ourselves as a top 4 team, ideally. But we know that to compete against Mamelodi Sundowns is never going to be an easy feat. It's always going to be a difficult feat.
Coach, from my side, how exciting is this battle you're having with Royal AM there at the top? It was never, I think a lot of people would not have expected this and at the beginning of the season. And also, how much do you fancy your chance of qualifying for the Champions League next season?
I think that battle would have been better if we collected the 3 points tonight, because then we would have closed that gap to 2. And then obviously there's the next game that comes up. So we had the 2 games in hand, and we could potentially have closed that gap with a win yet tonight, and then potentially go past them and go 1 point ahead. But you know, our target at the beginning of the season was to try and finish in the top 4. The bonus will be to finish in second. Our boys are going to give everything that they can to try and achieve that. But obviously right now it doesn't really lay in our hands. We needed to win tonight in order to achieve that, you know. But right now we've got to be hoping on others to get a result against Royal AM. But the confidence at Royal AM is very, very high. It's not that they play a great brand of football. If you watch them, possession stats, they always worse than the opposition. Chances created, they are always worse than the opposition. Yet they're managing to win football matches, you know. So hopefully their luck can change a bit.
Okay, thank you, coach. Thank you, President.
Thank you.